Before you were born, you chose everything: your family, your challenges, your greatest trials, and even the souls that would love or break you. Yet, at the moment you took your first breath in this world, a veil was placed over your consciousness, not as a punishment, but as a protection, so that you could act freely, feel freely, grow freely, without clinging to the script you had written for yourself. But your soul has never ceased to call out to you, in the choices that felt right, in the people who changed your life forever, in the pains that forced you to keep moving forward, in the signs you have too often ignored. Today, right now, the remembering begins, not suddenly, not supernaturally, but through an awakening that starts quietly and transforms everything. You do not remember your contract by looking back. You remember by understanding why your heart beats at certain truths, as if it is finding itself again. This is no coincidence. This is the moment you scheduled with yourself. Welcome to Zeitgeist. Welcome back to your own story. Before you became human, you were consciousness, pure, clear, boundless consciousness. No form, no body, no past, no pain. Just a vast field of intelligence that knew why it existed. Yet at some point, the moment came when your soul decided it is time for a new experience. A new incarnation, a new stage, a new act of your infinite spiritual journey. And so began the architecture of your soul, the process that many spiritual traditions call the soul contract. It is not a contract in the human sense. It is a blueprint, a conscious construction of the experiences you still wanted to have. You did not simply receive a life, you designed it with intention, clarity, and courage. 1. Why you designed your life yourself, like a director writing their script. Imagine you are sitting in a room of light, surrounded by the consciousness you know as your soul, but infinitely larger than your current personality. In this state, you not only contemplated who you would become, but why. Your life is not a product of chance. It does not follow a chaotic pattern. Every significant encounter, every challenge, every great love, every loss, every recurring longing, all of it stems from this design process. You were the director, you were the screenwriter. You were simultaneously the main character and the audience of your future story. Many spiritual teachings report that souls choose the earth mode because no other place is as intense, as condensed, as transformative. Here, every emotion is amplified. Every decision matters. Every lesson is etched in. No training is as radical as human life, and that is precisely why you meticulously planned your script, to be able to grow. 2. The veil of forgetting, and why it is a gift, not a loss. The moment you were born, something was placed over your consciousness, which the ancient texts call the veil of forgetting, the veil of forgetfulness. You forgot who you were. You forgot why you came. You forgot who loved you before you existed. Yet this forgetting is no mistake. And it is an integral part of the design. For imagine if you knew everything, the outcome, your task, every karmic knot, every trial. There would be no true free will. You would follow your plan like a program, not like a growing consciousness. Forgetting protects your freedom. It allows you to experience your choices as your own. And above all, it grants you authenticity. Only when a person does not know who they are, do they truly begin to search. And only in this search do they find the truth, which is not learned but remembered. This is the quiet wisdom you have forgotten, so that your awakening may be genuine. How intuition, instinct, and deep knowing reveal fragments of your contract. Even if you consciously know nothing, your inner system carries the plan in every cell. Your instinct, your intuition, your strange attractions to certain places, people, or themes, they are all fragments of your original knowledge. Intuition is the language of your soul. It is not a feeling, it is a memory, a soft recognition of what you once decided for yourself. Instinct is your protective function. It keeps you from paths that would lead you away from your contract. Deep knowing is that feeling that says, I don't know why, but I know it is right. These three forces are the remnants of the plan that was never erased. It was merely obscured. When you learn to listen to them again, your contract begins to reveal itself from within. The truth you have forgotten so that you may awaken through your own strength. The deepest meaning of the soul contract is spiritual maturity. You are here to recognize yourself, not as a body, not as a role, but as consciousness that shapes its own reality. When you feel empty, lost, out of place, remember, it is not a flaw in the system. It is the call of your soul. When crossroads open, when synchronicities appear, when dreams carry messages, when certain people touch you like magnets, then you awaken. Not through knowledge, not through books, but through the recognition of your own architecture. You have forgotten yourself so that you can find yourself again, deeper, clearer, and more conscious than ever before. This is the beginning, the return to the design of your soul, the return to you. There is a reason why sometimes you feel that life is speaking to you, not loudly, not directly, but in its own secret language, the language of your soul. Signs, impulses, encounters, inner knowing, inexplicable moments. All of these are threads of remembrance that lead you back to your soul contract. You are never alone on your journey. Your soul is trying to remind you in every moment. The only question is, are you listening? 1. Synchronicities, encrypted memory impulses of your soul. Synchronicities are not coincidences. They are perfect intersections between inner and outer reality. Moments when the universe shows you you are on the right path. You remember. When you see certain sequences of numbers repeatedly, when people say exactly the words you were thinking, when you find a symbol everywhere, then a portal opens to your inner knowledge. Why does this happen? Because your subconscious carries fragments of your soul contract and responds to resonance. Everything that belongs to your pre-birth plan vibrates at your frequency, and when you encounter it, it begins to glow. Synchronicities are memory impulses. They are the way your soul gently nudges you and whispers, "Look here, this is important. This was part of our plan." 2. Why certain people appear at exactly the right time. You have surely experienced that people come into your life just when you need them, even if you didn't know it beforehand. Some heal you, some challenge you, some open doors, others close chapters. Spiritually speaking, this is no coincidence. These people appear only when you are energetically ready to activate that part of your soul contract. Some come to remind you who you truly are. Others come to show you who you are no longer. And a few evoke a deep resonance that feels like, I have known you for centuries, because it is true. Every significant person in your life is a living sign, a mirror, a clue, a chapter of your pre-birth design. 3. Dreams, the access to pre-birth memory. In sleep, your consciousness leaves the dense material plane and enters the subtler space between worlds. There, the ego is quieter, and the soul speaks more clearly. That is why some dreams feel like messages, some like warnings, some like memories from another life, recurring dreams, intense encounters, conversations with the deceased, or scenarios that feel more real than real. All of these are channels through which your soul plays back information from your soul contract. Some dreams are even fragments of pre-birth planning sessions, symbolically encrypted, yet energetically profoundly true. When you dream, the boundary becomes thin, and sometimes you experience not just images, you experience your truth. 4. Physical resonance and déjà vu energy, how your cells remember. There are places where you arrive and immediately think, I have been here before. Or you meet someone and feel an inexplicable familiarity within seconds. Or you enter a room and your body reacts, even though your mind understands nothing. This is the language of the cells. Every cell carries energetic information of your soul, like microcrystals of your memory. In a strong déjà vu, a pattern that existed before your birth gets activated. Your body recognizes what your consciousness has forgotten. Physical resonance is often the truest sign because it does not think, it feels, it remembers. 5. Intuition, the direct voice of your soul. Contract intuition is not just a feeling. It is an inner navigation based on your pre-birth knowledge. When you make a decision and know what is right, even without logical reasons, that decision aligns with your soul contract. Intuition is the voice of your soul before your mind translates it. It speaks in clarity, not in fear. The more conscious you become, the clearer this voice becomes, and the easier it is to recognize that your intuition is often the only part of your consciousness that has never lied to you. Emotional triggers, signposts to agreed lessons. Some situations hit us deeper than they should. A sentence wounds you more than it ought to. A glance throws you off balance. A person you barely know evokes an unexpectedly strong feeling. This is not a mistake. It is a clue. Emotional triggers are like red markings in the soul contract. They show you, here lies growth, here lies karma, here lies the lesson we chose. When you realize that you are not reacting to the situation but to something you wanted to resolve long before this incarnation, healing begins. Triggers are not enemies, they are signposts. The difference between blockages and redirections. Many people believe the universe closes doors on them because they are not good enough. But so, yet from the perspective of your soul, there are two completely different experiences. Blockages arise when you work against your contract, when you try to force something that does not match your frequency. Redirections, on the other hand, are gifts. They take you where you actually wanted to go, even if you did not see it yourself. Sometimes a lost job means protection. Sometimes a breakup means liberation. Sometimes a failed plan means the true plan can finally begin. When you learn to feel the difference, you will never again feel that life is playing against you. Final thought. Your soul speaks to you constantly, through signs, through people, through dreams, through feelings, through the quiet movement of your heart. You are not separate from your plan. You are right in the middle of it. And the more you learn this language, the clearer you will recognize you are not newly remembering. You are simply returning to what you have always known. There are places in your life where you keep getting stuck. Relationships that resemble each other. Conflicts that repeat. Challenges that feel like a circle. Opportunities that draw you in magically. Or fears that seem to have accompanied you since childhood. Most people consider this coincidence, fate, or bad luck. Yet from the perspective of your soul, these patterns are not mistakes. They are the most visible traces of your soul contract. When you begin to read your patterns like a map, you recognize something astonishing. You have been following a plan you drew up yourself since your birth. Recurring relationship patterns, your soul lessons reflected in other people are the most precise tools for awakening, and that is precisely why certain relationship patterns repeat. Perhaps you keep encountering partners who ignore you. Perhaps you attract people who want to be saved. Perhaps you often find yourself in triads, dependencies, or power dynamics. On a soul level, this has nothing to do with blame. It is about the fact that these patterns carry a lesson you chose before your birth. Repetitions only arise when the lesson has not yet been integrated. You learn loyalty through betrayal. Yes, and you learn self-worth through rejection. You learn boundaries through people who cross them. You learn self-love through relationships that forget you. People are not your enemies. They are mirrors. And when a pattern repeats often enough, your soul does not seek to punish, it seeks to remember. 2. Professional tendencies, clues to abilities you brought from other lives. Why do some people feel drawn to art from a young age, while others gravitate towards healing, leadership, technology, music, or language? because your professional tendencies are often recognitions, activated memories of your soul. Some individuals can intuitively heal without any formal training. Others effortlessly organize groups. Some can speak for hours about philosophy as if they have studied it for decades. Others understand animals or nature as if they are communicating with them. This is no coincidence. These are abilities you have brought into this incarnation from previous experiences. Your soul does not forget its competencies. It waits for you to recognize them again. If you excel at something without having learned it, it is not merely a talent. It is a fragment of memory from your spiritual biography. 3. Why your greatest challenges are exactly what you chose. Many people wonder, why is this happening to me? Yet the question of your soul is, why did I decide beforehand that I wanted to experience this? The most difficult chapters of your life are not punishments. They are tests you set for yourself because you knew you would grow from them. Souls choose challenges to develop strength, loss to understand love, failure to learn humility, separation to recognize self-worth, fear to unfold courage, crises to expand consciousness. From the perspective of your soul, pain is not a dead end, but a catalyst, and some lessons can only be forged in fire. When you realize this, a deep peace arises. You are never a victim of your circumstances. You are the one who wrote the script. 4. Family roles. The karmic school. You chose every person plays a specific role in their family. Perhaps you were the responsible child, the mediator, the rebel, the invisible one, the protector, the healer, the one who always smiles, the one who holds everything together. Whatever your role is, it is no coincidence. Families are the first schools of the soul contract. Here you learn early who you are not, and which wounds you wish to heal or transform. Sometimes it is the soul of a parent that imparts an important lesson to you, through love or through absence. Sometimes it is a sibling who triggers old karmic themes within you. Sometimes it is the entire family structure that forces you to find yourself. When you recognize your role, you recognize your purpose. 5. Childhood interests and natural talents. The soul fingerprints. What magnetically attracted you as a child? What could you spend hours doing without growing tired? What abilities did you display long before you could learn them? Children still live very close to their soul contract. Their consciousness is not yet fully colored by expectations, norms, and societal patterns. Therefore, the clearest fingerprints of the soul reveal themselves in childhood. Those who could soothe animals as children carry the energy of the healer. Those who invented stories are soul teachers or artists. Then whoever dismantles everything is a builder of past or future worlds. Whoever always wanted to protect is an old soul with a warrior's heart. Whoever constantly organized is a leader's soul. Your childhood self already knew it, and everything you seek today was already visible back then. 6. Why pain is part of your mission and never happens by chance. There are pains that run deeper than words, yet they always carry meaning. Viewed spiritually, pain is often a form of initiation, a transitional ritual of the soul. Pain shows you where you still hold on. Pain reveals where you have lost yourself. Pain indicates the lesson you set out to learn. Pain shows you where you need to grow. No pain is random, and no pain remains without a gift, even if you only see it years later. The soul never plans suffering, but it does plan experiences that can lead you back to yourself. Sometimes it is the darkest moments that open the brightest doors. Your patterns are not chaos. They are clues, traces, memories. If you read them correctly, you will not recognize your soul contract as a burden, but as a guide to your deepest truth. There comes a moment in a person's life when the feeling arises, I know this path. I have planned this before. I remember, just not quite. This moment is not a coincidence. It is the awakening of the inner memory of your soul contract, the invisible agreement your soul made before your birth. The recollection does not happen through logic. It occurs through consciousness. Yet there are ways to intentionally open this consciousness. 1. The path of regressive meditation, access to the pre-incarnative level. Regressive meditation is not a look back into childhood. It is a look back into your eternity. When you descend deep enough into your inner space, you reach a level of consciousness where the body falls silent and the soul speaks. There, in that quiet in-between space between wakefulness and dream, your access to pre-incarnative memory begins. Regressive meditation leads you away from the noise of the present into the golden space of your pre-birth decisions, back to the place where your soul contract was written. In this state, time and identity dissolve. You do not become someone else. You become the complete version of yourself. Many people report seeing a light in this meditation that is not an external light, a space that feels simultaneously like home and infinity. That is the threshold of your soul memory, and it is open to anyone willing to listen. 2. How you can meet your higher soul. Your higher self is not outside of you. It is the expanded, limitless version of your current consciousness, the soul that signed the contract. The encounter with it does not happen through words, but through presence. In deep meditation, you can experience it as a being of light, a warm presence, a feeling of I know, a voice without sound, an image full of meaning. It is the soul that saw you before you were born, the one that knew what strengths you would bring into this life, the one that knew which challenges would shape you, the one that knew that someday, just like now, you would begin to remember. And when you meet your higher soul, you feel a truth. You are not lost, you are guided, and you are not here by chance. 3. The questions your contract reveals when you are ready. There are questions that only open to you when your consciousness has matured enough to bear the answer. In regressive meditation or in a state of heightened intuition, you can ask your soul contract 3 core questions. 1. What was my main lesson for this life? You will not always receive words. Sometimes the answer comes as a feeling, an image, an energy. But you will recognize it, for it feels like a déjà vu of the heart. 2. Why did I choose these people, just these? Faces, memories, or scenes often appear. Suddenly you feel the red thread connecting pain and growth. 3. What is my next step? The soul contract does not show you a finished map, but it shows you the direction. It shows you the door, not the entire path. The soul never overwhelms. It only reminds you of as much as you can integrate. 4. Accessing your Akashic records, what you can see and what you cannot. The Akasha is not a place. It is a state. A field of consciousness where every experience, every incarnation, and every contract is stored. When you access it, you do not do so as a visitor. You do so as an owner. Yet there are 2 limits. You can only see what serves your development. The Akasha never shows you information that would confuse or burden you. You cannot see a future that has not yet been decided. The soul contract contains potentials, not pre-made paths. What you can see, however, is deeply transformative. Past lives that explain your current fears, former abilities that illuminate your talents, souls that repeatedly incarnate with you, karmic patterns that call for completion. The Akasha reveals no entertainment. It reveals meaning. It shows you exactly what reminds you, not what binds you. 5. How to align your decisions with your contract from today. On the greatest advantage of remembering is freedom. When you begin to hear the voice of your soul, you can measure every decision against a simple principle. Does it feel like expansion or like contraction? Your soul contract is always oriented towards expansion. When something feels wide, when you feel peace in your chest, when your breath deepens, when your body says yes before your mind understands it. Then you are in harmony with your plan. But if something feels tight, heavy, empty, forced, that is not failure. It is redirection. A gentle message from your soul. Not here, not like this, not now. The more you learn to perceive the resonance of your decisions, the less you will lose your way. 6. Why remembering does not mean the past, but freedom of action in the now. Many believe that remembering the soul contract is a look back. In truth, it is a look inward, into the freedom you have always had. Remembering does not mean recalling old scenes. It means activating the inner clarity that has always been within you. If you remember, you hear your intuition more clearly, you see patterns more distinctly, you feel your purpose more consciously, you make decisions from your soul instead of from fear. You no longer live somehow, but intentionally. Remembering does not free you from your path, it frees you to your path. And as you remember, you realize you did not sign the contract to find out who you are meant to be. You signed it to remember who you have always been. Nothing in your life has been random, not the people, not the wounds, not the love, not the nights when you thought you would break, and not the mornings when you suddenly woke up stronger than you had ever been before. You chose all of this out of courage, out of wisdom, out of a consciousness that is greater than any fear you know today. And now, right now, you are beginning to remember, not with the mind, but with the soul that is finally speaking through you again. A question for you. What sign has recently shown you that your soul is communicating with you? Write it in the comments. Your answer could provide someone else with exactly the clarity they are seeking. Spirit to spirit. Your zeitgeist.